Once you understand Instagram content like this, it's gonna be so fucking easy to get new leads and to build your personal brand. The worst advice nowadays is build a personal brand so you can get unlimited leads. And you see all these people talking about, oh yeah, I build a 300K a month coaching business with organic content. First of all, I want you to know this is all bullshit. They use ads. They've been running ads. So don't get fooled, please, because these people are trying to sell their product, of course, and their product has something around creating organic content. And it's the dream, right? If you can get free clients with free content, wow, how amazing is that? You don't have to spend a single penny. You don't have to do any cold outreach. You're just gonna get clients from content. How wonderful does that sound? It sounds like a fucking rainbow fairy tale, because it is a rainbow fairy tale. Not completely, but I'm gonna show you how this works. So most of you will sit in a paradigm nowadays where you're like, okay, I understand that I need a personal brand. If I don't have a personal brand, I'm not gonna sell anything for a high amount of money, because people don't buy from strangers anymore. It's not 2022 where we can just launch a funnel and say, I'm gonna guarantee you X, Y, and Z, and if you don't get it, you don't pay, and then I get fucking 200 qualified sales calls and we close like 40% of them and we just print. That doesn't exist anymore, right? We're in 2026, people are highly skeptical and we need a brand. But a lot of you, like me, you don't have a very big brand yet. So then you're sitting there going, okay, I need to build a brand, so I'm gonna make content. But then you also know content is slow, so then you're looking for little viral tips and tricks and trying to copy other people that went viral. And you see competitors who have these banger videos and you go, okay, let me try to make that shit. And then it just doesn't really work. You either don't really get views or it doesn't really hit, or it's just not completely it. And this is the biggest problem, right? This will blow your mind. You're sitting in a weird pocket where you understand, if I want to build a bigger brand with a lot of followers, I need views. But if I want clients, I need content on a niche specific topic. So if I try to go viral and I try to copy these formats and I make these kind of viral videos, I just suddenly start attracting a bunch of stupid people, unqualified leads. But when I make really niche content, it gets no views. So now you're in this weird trap where you're trying to, on the one hand, make niche specific content, but then on the other hand, you're trying to get views and it just doesn't really do anything. And now you have this weird lackluster content that just feels kind of like, this isn't anything. You look back at it and you're like, it didn't really get views and it's also not really that helpful. So it's like, it just creates the weirdest dichotomy. This is all because they fed you with the bullshit belief of content for leads, which is bullshit. This does not work, at least not at the lower levels, right? Later when we're Alex Hormozi and we got hundreds of thousands of followers, which is inevitably gonna happen, yay, we're gonna get a bunch of leads where content is gonna be amazing. But when you're under, let's say, a 50K followers, this is like the worst way to grow your business. And it's wildly inconsistent because one reel might pop and you'll get a bunch of people. Then you even have to question, are these qualified? So then you need a whole system, right, with appointment setters. Because I had it where I growth operated someone with 550,000 followers. We launched one story sequence. I think we got like 3,000 replies or something. And then we needed to get a bunch of setters and we needed to do a bunch of settings to even go through these 3,000 leads. This is not easy, right? So it's extremely important that you know what you're doing if you want to do this correctly. Get away from the idea of content for leads. There's only one thing that you need to do to get unlimited leads so you can get the clients. When you have a business that makes money, you don't need to default to the normie tactics, right? Normal people who don't have a business, they're struggling with money, they need to do the slow grind of building a personal brand over time, and then hopefully they'll go viral a couple times and then wow, they change their lives. And now they still don't have a high ticket business, so they're still struggling somehow and they're still in a 9-to-5. That's not you and me, right? We want high ticket businesses, we make money. So we don't have to depend on this whole mechanic, we can just sidestep it. Because Meta even gave you the cheat code. You don't even need an IG follower growth tool or anything. We can just go straight to Meta, right? They told us, hey, if you want views, we got them. You just need to pay a little bit of money. And they even try to get you to pay money. They're like constantly like, hey, boost your content. But what's gonna happen if you try to make this weird content that we just talked about that's kind of in between viral and niche, you're gonna get a bunch of unqualified leads and followers because your content is gonna broadly resonate, right? You're like selling a biz op, you're trying to make some lifestyle content. And you get like a bunch of Indians, you get a black profile pictures, you get some people that you're questioning whether they're even like people like bots and shit. That's a big problem. So what we do instead is we completely sidestep that and we create hyper-targeted content specifically for leads. So this will take care of the whole part of feeling icky about your content. So instead of going, okay, how can I make something that, you know, kind of goes viral with these little fucking tier lists, where now you're making a tier list of, oh, this is the best content in your niche. Now you're gonna make just hyper-targeted content that would only be really helpful for your specific ICP. Because when you mix brain rot with niche, what you kind of get is the brain rot in your niche, right? So you still get the worst possible leads inside your niche. But when you make hyper-targeted content just for your ICP, they go, wow, this is fucking valuable. And then the engagement on those reels will only come from your niche. And so Meta will will start to optimize for the lowest cost per follower, right? So if you have a broad reel that's attracting a lot of people, Meta will just go, okay, the lowest cost leads in this broad group of people is the retards here. So we're just gonna show it to more retards. And then you get a bunch of retards to follow you. But if Meta goes, hey, the retards aren't really engaging with this, it seems like they're falling asleep and scrolling away, but this weird group of extremely specific people are all engaging with this stuff, we're just gonna send more of them. And then you get these hyper-specific niche leads that you can turn into clients. Now, the beautiful thing is, because you are hyper-specific and you're no longer trying to optimize for two things at the same time, it will make them go, wow, this guy is really helpful. He's not like all these other people who are trying to do these weird viral / niche content pieces. Then they go, okay, I need to follow this guy. So the game now becomes, I don't need to stand out on Instagram to get followers and build my brand. I just need to stand out in my pocket of the market. And that becomes extremely easy because when you're niche down, the best content in your niche is often not that amazing. If you're competing with brain rot, right, you're competing with every Instagram creator. You're competing with Kylie Jenner, you're competing with fucking, I don't know, Lil Uzi Vert, you're competing with Drake, you're competing with meme pages. When you make hyper niche content and you use boosting and you use ads to get it to everybody, if your organic ad content looks better than the organic content that people see on a daily in your niche, you'll automatically stand out. And now it's like, holy shit, there's this guy who's running ads, but they're way better than the normal content I watch in this niche. So now you get more status, more authority. What will happen as well is people will start to copy you, right? Because in your niche, they will see, wow, this guy's getting a lot of views because they have no clue that it's an ad, right? They just go, wow, this reel got, 1 million views. We should probably copy that. So they start copying you. What happens? All these people in that specific niche go, look, they're all trying to do the same thing as he does. So boom, this guy must be really valuable. And then they start to follow you. Now, what will happen is you will start to grow, right? This pyramid, you will start to slide up the pyramid of authority and your brand will start to grow. Always beautiful when your phone runs out of storage. So you start growing inevitably. And it's simple, right? Because I have reels that got like $1 per follower. You can get reels that can get like $5 per follower. And honestly, you only need a couple thousand of your ICP, right? Imagine you have 5,000 qualified followers who all like, engage, and save your shit because every reel to them is actually helpful and is actually bringing them forward in their journey. That will signal to Instagram, this guy is really valuable, right? Because you're getting this amazing retention from these 5,000 people. They'll start to boost you in the algorithm. And then honestly, with the follower ads that are also extremely cheap, and because you're getting so many paid in fulls from your clients because you use the pre-call system that I talk about extensively on my page, now you can basically buy 10,000 followers, which is not just all gonna be brain rot bots from some IG growth website. Actually 10,000 followers of which, a good percentage is gonna be qualified and actually your ICP that will again buy from you. You'll buy your traffic, but they'll pay for itself. So now you're basically inevitably growing your personal brand and now it becomes extremely easy to hit a number like 100K. Now I'm not yet there because I wasn't understanding this. I thought about this shit. For the longest time I was trapped in that idea of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make organic content and I'm gonna get leads and then we have the outbound and we're gonna run some ads to a VSL. Now I've run amazing ads to VSLs, right? I scaled multiple call funnels very profitably and it makes a lot of money, but it doesn't necessarily grow your Instagram. A person follows you, they choose to want to see more of you. And so they're going to see more of you. You can indoctrinate them with stories. You can then obviously market to them with story sequences, retargeting ads, you name it. So this is the new meta, right? This is how you're going to get to your 10, 50, 100K followers. Don't play the game of hoping and praying to go viral because you'll be stuck in this weird dichotomy of making half viral, half niche content and ultimately just end up with nothing. You go hyper niche, hyper helpful, and you pay to win. Then you use that money to buy more views, get more followers, grow your brand, and inevitably all this trust compounds. Because guess what? The more followers, the more people think you're credible.